Well, I don't need warning twice not to go anywhere near this one, do I? So welcome to Lot 76 Cars. My name is Simon and today I'm filming at Rustival. So there can't be many people who've not heard of this event taking place here at the British Motor Museum. There are some absolutely fabulous cars to show you here today. So keep watching. So on behalf of Alzheimer's Research, a couple of guys here are taking this car back to the factory. It's one of two LXIs Skoda Favorites, last of the cars before the VW days. And of course, for a small donation, you can doodle on the car. I know, I couldn't resist it, could I? So shout out to the guys, good luck for their travels and brilliant to see them here today. That's fantastic, isn't it? So this Daihatsu Kurore, or Myra as it actually said, known in different markets. I'm not even going to attempt that model description without looking at the card. I'm going to cheat here. It's a 1998, wait for it, L512S Daihatsu Kurore TR-XX Avanzato R4. There you go, eh? And what a tiny lovely little thing it is. I followed this one up the M40 today, and well, I say followed him, he was batting away in front of me. That's a rare one, isn't it? So this is hen's teeth rare. It's a Mitsubishi Cordia Turbo. I mean, I think there's probably two of these left. I think I've seen the other ones. I've seen the whole UK population. Great little coupe, imported by Mitsubishi, now sadly gone from the UK. And it's in absolutely beautiful order, not a speck of rust on it. Looks lovely, doesn't it? You're unlikely to see another one, maybe today. So this is a rare one. It's a pre-facelift Megane Fiji Coupe. In fact, I know that car very well. It's in pineapple yellow, and I've driven that car on the channel. So it's owned by Mark on Motoring. So check out Mark's channel where he takes it back to the factory. It's really worthwhile watching that one as well. Super looking car. So you might have seen this 900 Turbo at Festival, the Unexceptional, one of the other events during last year. This is a one-off 900 Turbo that was built for an Arab sheikh. It's got equipment like air conditioning, quite unusual at the time. Unusual colour combination, those lovely stripes along the side. It's actually in super condition, left-hand drive of course, and a sedan rather than the hatch. You're rarely going to see one of those, I suspect. Now it would be unusual to see a Citroën GS or GSA in this case, but it would be doubly unusual to see a G Special, and this is the wagon. I don't ever recall seeing this. Is a left-hand drive car. Were they sold in the UK? Stick that in the comments if you know. It's in lovely order, isn't it? That cream with that beautiful corduroy interior. What a practical little estate. Actually, it's not that little. Lovely. So this is a 1984 Camry, and what makes this one particularly unusual is, yeah, it's a turbo diesel. Japanese weren't necessarily known for diesel engines, and this was a really early diesel. It's got the original dealer plates in there, Ron Brooks of, I think of Ilkeston. Might still be a Toyota dealer even now. This is in superb order. The owner's going to let me have a quick look inside, so I'm going to take advantage. It's a manual. Look at the switch gear. It's in immaculate order, like the portable air conditioning unit in there. The seats are just glorious, aren't they? Of course, petrol filler cat release down by the driver's seat. Keep fit windows. Take a look in the back, and yes, it's even got the full toolkit. Should you ever need it, it's a Toyota, probably you won't. That must be super rare. What a lovely car that one is. Yeah, you won't find another one. This is lovely, isn't it? Triumph Herald. I really like these. This car gave its floor pan, it's got a separate body on frame construction, even relatively unusual then, and it was to do with capacity, body making capacity, that Triumph couldn't tap into maybe with pressed steel at the time. So they produced car with a separate body and chassis. Nevertheless, this one is in lovely order. Only ever made as a 2-door. I think the Vitesse version probably had the 6-cylinder. It is just period correct. That colour just works. That's sort of what dusky pink colour. Whoever's car that is, shout out to them. That is a beauty. So the Riley 1.5 was originally planned, or this series of cars originally planned to take over from the Morris Minor, but in the end it used the Minor floor pan and then components, I believe the engine, from the MGA. It actually made quite a good combination. I think it brought innovations like rack and pinion steering it brought to this car, which was quite a revelation back in the day. This duotone car is an absolute beauty, isn't it? Really like the look of that one. So K11 micros are becoming a bit rarer, but not as rare as this one. I suspect it's probably a Japanese import. It's a K11 convertible, and it looks really properly, thoroughly engineered. So this looks like it was properly factory. Just looking at the panel work on this one, if it wasn't, it's been very well done. That's a rare one, isn't it? And we've got Whiteland Restorations modified 240 Volvo, and doesn't that look mint? Check out those lights, guys. That's something else. And if that's not enough for you, look at the spoiler. I've seen touring cars with smaller spoilers than that. So UK barn finds are here, and they brought this lovely 1954 Austin A30 PPW 398. Now this particular car, it's got a bit of patination on the bodywork, admittedly. I think you might need a bit more than T-cut to bring that out. It was last on the road in December 1971, and obviously it's they've got it up and running. So they did a huge amount of work on this car and managed to get the engine free, a bit of diesel and ATF fluid down the bores, and they got it running. So I'm not sure what the long-term plan is with that car, but it looks absolutely glorious. Great to see here. What a tiny little car that is. So as a celebration of an award that won for being recognised as a Millennium product, I think by the Design Council, they built 1,000 cars, 1,000 Pumas and 1,000 Focus in this yellow. My word, they do stand out, but they are rare cars these days. I mean, that Focus Mark 1 was an absolutely ground-breaking car with its control blade suspension, and this one is in great order. They drive really, really well. And if that wasn't enough, let's just turn around and see what's behind it. So out of a set of 3 possible Millennium Fords, we've got the other one. We've got this brilliant Ford Puma with the Yamaha 1.7 engine, or certainly the Yamaha head. Yamaha did work on that one. These are massively underrated, did suffer from rust. This is in great order, doesn't have the same issue with the rear arches that many of them do. Honestly, the Puma has got to be the next big Ford where values will take off. I'm sure it must. So this 1972 Toyota Carina Deluxe has a bit of patination with it. The original owner stopped driving. It's had, I think, 3 owners now. It looks to be in regular use. You're not going to see one of these. Officially imported car into the UK, and it survived. Got some of those super features on the design that really made the Toyota stand out of this period. Lashings of chrome. Look at those chrome rear lights. They're incredible, aren't they? And of course it's got the deluxe badge. Wow. Well, again, rare to see them in any condition, and glad it's still on the road. We've almost got the full set here of cars for the YouTubers, or certainly for Furious Driving. We've got the Alfa Romeo 145 bread van style, which is recently put back on the road. They're lovely, aren't they? Apparently great to drive, but can be a bit problematical with the electrics. And we've got the Mark 1 R53 Mini, and what makes this unusual is it is a Y registration car, so it's one of the first cars sent out from the factory, I think pre-production or early production, and sent out as a promotional vehicle. So I think every retailer got 1 or 2 cars, and it's in lovely condition. It's a Cooper. It's got those lovely white wheels and roof on it, and it's a beauty. Next to it we've got the Volvo 740. These are not the fastest thing. I have driven these back in the day more than once, so my dad had one as well. They're not quick, but by jolly they are very, very comfortable cars, and of course, being a Volvo, very safe as well. So the P10 Primera took over from the Bluebird, produced in the UK, and really a proper competitor for Nissan in the fleet market. And these did drive extremely well. This and the P11 that came after it, which was a facelifted version. This is Chris James's car, which I think is for sale at the moment, and it's also been at Festival of the Unexceptional in the concourse ring. So if you fancy a beautiful Primera, that's certainly got to be one to have, hasn't it? Dacia is pretty well known as a brand these days as part of Renault, but originally they started out producing versions of the Renault 12. But I bet you've never seen one of these before, because neither have I. It looks like it's a Renault 12 based pickup. I guess probably for the home market back in Romania. Incredibly useful. It's a sort of a double cab design. Yeah, it's got the rear doors. I suspect the rear doors might be lifted straight from a Renault 12. Yeah, it's definitely a double cab, it says so. And it's got a very useful load space, and it even says it's four-wheel drive as well. That's just immense. I don't know what to say. I'm pretty sure these were Bertoni designed. It's a Citroen BX, really put Citroen on the map again. High pneumatic suspension. It's a Mark 1 car, but what marks this one out, it's a GT. So the GT, probably people remember the GTI and the GTI 16 valve, but not so much the GT. So I believe these were carburettor cars rather than injected cars. In fact, I'm pretty sure of that. But it's in lovely, lovely order, isn't it? You will not see another one, I'm pretty sure anyway. So I've got fond family memories of the Volvo 144 Series 1 4-cylinder 4-door, and this is a 71 J-plated car. My dad had a K-plater, I think also just a bit later than this one. Looks in superb order. I do remember this car being sold at Anglia car auctions a while ago. It's a distinctive colour, so I guess that's probably why. And it's in lovely, lovely nick. I think it's had quite a lot of work done to it, to be honest with you. But it does look pretty glorious. So the last car to wear the Morris badge, no, don't ask me why it's got Austin on the front, I don't know either, is this Morris Ital from 1982, X-plated, supposedly using the design input of Ital, but actually I since read that it was Harris Mann that did a lot of work on this, not the Ital design studio. Maybe it was just a licensing of the name. Nevertheless, to give the old Marina a bit of a last hurrah with the styling, front and rear styling, changed lamps and everything. So in a similar shade of bluey purple to the HubNut car is this Daewoo Matiz. Now this was a rejected design produced by one of the Italian designing houses, his name escapes me, for Fiat. It was then rejected by Fiat, and then they proceeded to offer it, the styling house that is, to another manufacturer. In this case, Daewoo snapped their hand off and they built this rather little cute hatchback. So just 350 of these lilac, beautiful lilac Morris Minors were built to celebrate the 1,000th Morris Minor being built. So it's got special badging, it's got obviously the paintwork, which we can all see, which looks glorious. I'm not sure how many of these survive. I've seen a few of these together when they were celebrating the anniversary at the Lancaster show maybe a couple of years ago, but what a super special little car. Lovely, isn't it? Honda originally entered the market in the UK in 1972, and they entered with the Civic. So this is the original Civic that came out. This one in fact is a 1974 car. Lovely bit of patination. I'm told that the patination is genuine. The owners let me have a look inside it. It's got some original. Look at that. Look at the wood. That's proper plastic wood, isn't it? So the one thing the Japanese did during this period, they really knew about reliability and build quality. Maybe not about, you know, sort of the plastics, the finish of them, but absolute reliability was there. A lot of these didn't survive because of rust, so it's really great to see this 74 car here today. Despite all the possible reasons, rust being the main one not to get this car back on the road, here's Shemi the Charade, Miss HubNut's car, resplendent in that blue. Lots of work done by the Whiteland guys, and It looks pretty good. It's made it here all the way from Wales, isn't it? So apparently Yugo Care Plan promises the worry-free warranty. Well, let's hope we don't have to put that to the test. But there is a rare one, isn't there? I mean, there's rare and rare, but a Yugo Sana? Come on, I mean, it's got echoes of Citroen BX in that design, hasn't it? Was it Bertoni? I can't remember, honestly, put it in the comments if I've forgotten, but yeah. There we go, for your delectation, a Yugo Sana 1.4. Brilliant. And back in 1992, the princely sum of just over £10,000 would get you this Tipo 1.4S. As I recall, quite a spacious package on these cars. Never really pushed the Astra or the Escort out and put their nose out of joint in the market, but nevertheless, really usable little car. And again, like the Yugo we've just seen, I don't recall seeing another one of these, except maybe on HubNut. So this low mileage 16 TRS has been on YouTube more often than I have. It was on the Up and Down channel, and I believe it's on another channel now, which I can't remember. If I do work that one out, I'll stick it on the screen. Beautiful condition. I think it was pulled out of a garden, having done very, very low mileage. Well, it's not in bad order. It's got those sort of semi-translucent panels at the back. Not sure all of the BXs had that, but nice to see that here today. Tell me, what happened to all the Citroen Visas? They appear to be everywhere. I must be getting old, and now they're nowhere. This one, the owner's also got a GTI. It's a Visa 14 TRS from Feb 85, it says there. It's got the obligatory HubNut sticker in the back window. And you know what, in that burgundy, it looks in pretty good order, doesn't it? Oh, these are just so rare. Love those Citroen brand and mud flaps. And the sort of full wheel covers there. Yeah, that's lovely, isn't it? I shall linger a bit longer around that one. Now, I believe this might have made my day, and I know it's a bit sad really, but it's a Daewoo Espiro, so based on the Cavalier Mark II underpinnings. Although you wouldn't know it from the design, I believe it was a Bertoni design which was offered to another manufacturer, maybe Citroen, and then rejected, and then Daewoo, as they had a habit of doing at the time, took the design on and built this Espiro, and they did quite a good job of it, didn't they? Now, Daewoo entered the market in, I think, the late 90s and lasted all the way through, I think, under the Chevrolet brand later in life, with a unique method of selling, and I made a video about that a bit, I think it was last year sometime, so check that one out on the channel because it's a great story, I think, worth telling, but fabulous to see that here today. I think I'm overdosing here. There's a Peridot Nipper from the year 2000, a 27,000 mile example based on the Daihatsu Miura originally, and no power steering, no ABS, no electric windows, but it held the title as the cheapest car to buy in the UK, well under £5,000. I think later than that, then it was actually reduced even further to account for exchange rate differences, and also the cheapest car to run. And really rare, they exited the market some years ago, and in fact Daihatsu, whose platforms they used, also exited the market as well. Fabulous. Well, I never cease to be amazed about the cars that have been dragged out of garages and off driveways for this event. Yes, this is a Hyundai Stella, Cortina based car, early days of the Korean industry. Little did we know how the Koreans would really literally build such a world-beating car industry. And that's it, so we'll take a look inside. The owner's going to let me open it up and have a let's look at 1980s Korean luxury. Oh, look at the seats. Bit of fake plastic wood there, that's what we need. Oh, but it's got quite a lot of the electric windows in there. Now this particular car has been fitted with a Rover V8 because the original engine was apparently a little bit worn out. So what you're seeing under the bonnet is not the original engine. It's got a Rover V8, so I bet it goes a bit. I say originally Cortina based. They imported quite a lot of their components and industry from other markets. Originally the British were involved with the Pony, but yeah, that's fabulous. Made my day, that has. So this is a relatively rare one as well. It's a Mark IV Cortina, but it's a base 1.3 two-door X Haynes Motor Museum car. I believe this Peterborough registration was originally belonged to an engineering company in Peterborough. Very basic spec, but lovingly preserved. Apart from the wheels, it looks pretty standard. We'll take a look inside and see what it got you. Well, 2 doors, it's immaculate, isn't it? Well, you've still got vinyl trim, so, you know, not maybe the best place on a hot day. Quite a few blanking plates. There's distinctly lacking of audio in there. No rev counter, of course. Not that much to go wrong, in fairness, is there? That's lovely, isn't it? And what stunning condition. Just look at the door shuts on there as well. That looks brilliant, doesn't it? So when Volvo took over the little DAF company to give it a small car range, it inherited the small DAFs, and this was rebranded as the 66 GL. Now, I remember these back in the day, but this is a, what P? So 1975, I suspect. Now, it might look like a Bumblebee in that colour scheme, but honestly, it's probably one of very few you're going to see on the roads today. Good Lord, it's another Peridot Nipper. What's the chance of that? Looks like a 1971 NSU Prince. NSU, the company that built these lovely little rear engine cars that eventually went into the ownership, was taken over by Audi following the disastrous R080 Wankel engine warranty claims. Fabulous. So I hope you're enjoying the video from Rustival. Please like, share, subscribe if you want to see more content like this during the coming year, and hope you enjoy the rest of the video. Well, all the unicorns are out today. This is a 1979 Citroën GS service van, originally exported, built in the Rennes plant and used in Ireland. Yeah, I've never seen one before. Apparently they were quite expensive back in the day compared to a regular van, and that's probably why they didn't sell in large numbers, and you're unlikely to see one today. Well, you've seen this one, I suppose, haven't you? So I think we're playing East European top trumps. We've got a Wartburg estate here. This is a 2-stroke, I think. I don't know a massive amount about these, so I bow to people's superior knowledge about these if that's the case. That's, I think, 2-stroke engine. Next to it we've got a Skoda Estelle, nicely modified, a bit lower. We've got another Wartburg next to that, this time a sedan. Wow, that's pretty much the full set almost, isn't it? And we've got a Yugo somewhere else in the video. Well, if you fancy a Montego, here's a later Rover Montego. Badging was changed, it got the different coloured body side cladding. I think just badge is a Montego, losing the Austin badge. A Citroën Diane, and I think it might be from Wales. Packing, I think, a 1.2 engine and about 68 horsepower, but not that much weight, is this lovely green. I love that shade of green. Alpha Sud TI. So the TI had the round lamps at the front, and it had the spoiler at the back. And wow, you just do not see them for obvious reasons. They've all rusted away. My mum's rusted away very, very quickly, within 18 months, in fact. So the Renault 9 was the booted version, the 11 was the hatchback version, and this was the small C-segment saloon that Renault had back in the 80s, I think before the 19. This is a later facelift car by the look of it. Got that fabulous checkerboard interior, and perhaps ambitiously, it has got a rear spoiler. I'm not sure what that does for the aero, but there you go, seldom seen. Now this might fall under the category rare but nobody cares, which is unfortunate because it's a Seat Toledo. These were really highly rated at the time. Just don't recall seeing one of these for years, and actually they're not that old. It's one from 2001, that's all. A Hyundai Pony, built using a massive amount of British machine tools, ingenuity and engineers at the time. This is a later car, it's a 92. Wow, we didn't know what force the Koreans would become in the motor industry at that stage, did we? Mark II Astra, very, very aerodynamic body over essentially, I believe, Mark I Astra mechanicals by and large. Quite a pretty car, actually. I would say prettier than the Mark III that came after it, to be honest with you. This is a facelift car. Looking at the grille at the front, the original egg crate grille cars must be pretty rare. This one's from 1990, like my own Mercedes. And these, a friend of mine had a 1.3 one of these, and these would absolutely fly. So this Citroen Synergy is called Eric apparently, so a shout out to Eric. And looking at that sticker in the window, I'll definitely be checking out that channel when I get home for sure. Another one from the I Spy book is a Hyundai Sonata. Officially sold by Nissan GB in the UK, but never sold in huge numbers. They were a car for dealer principals, and Nissan Motor GB management is a Nissan Maxima QX. I haven't seen one of these for years. Beautifully appointed inside, every single extra, lovely leather upholstery, but now hen's teeth rare. A very lovingly preserved Renault 10. Apparently a development of the original Dolphin, sort of morphed into the 8 and then the longer 10. This is in beautiful condition, isn't it? Apparently there's only 19 of these, it says, and I suspect that's probably true. That's lovely, isn't it? And the Astra base Deonexia. This survived scrappies, didn't it? Wow. Beautiful Alpha 155. Just leaving the show. Just caught that one in time. Now this Toyota Corona is featured on HubNut, maybe an original UK car. It's what, 68, 69? Must be very early days of Toyota operating in the UK. It looks in immense condition. Apparently it's fitted with a Celica engine now. A Honda Accord Aero Deck, unusual, a car this size being just a 3-door pop-up lights, which are great. And then you'll see the tailgate really cuts into the back and really opens quite wide. It's a shame that's not open there today. But what a useful, not even little, what a useful hatchback that is. So this Rover 75's been virtually rebuilt. I think John Coupland probably got a bit more than he bargained for with this one, but he's done a load of work on it, and this lovely Wedgwood Blue 75 is now here today. So this, my friends, is a Ford Escort, but not as you know it. It's a North American ZX2 Coupe. It's got a bit of a sort of Hyundai look about it, hasn't it, from the front? I just had to come and have a look, although it does actually, walking around the car, it is reminiscent of the Ford Probe of the time, isn't it? Apparently it is the only one in the UK. Well, that's certainly an interesting look to it, isn't it? So these represent what I would suggest is one of the prettiest cars of the period in this segment. It's the Peugeot 405. So remember the original advertisement with the cars driving through a field that was on fire, take my breath away? Well, they did. They must have done, because I had 2 of them as company cars. So this one here is a facelift, a pre-facelift car rather, and it's the GTX injection. I think it's an auto. Yeah, it's an automatic, so that must make it relatively rare. And it's got the pre-facelift panel between the lights at the back. So the later cars had the standard air conditioning. That's how I know the GTXs, and they had the lower boot line. And this, for comparison, is the Estate, so the facelift didn't affect that quite so much because it was already the Estate body style. But great to see those here today. You just don't see them enough. So this is Ford's last big executive car. It's an 89 by the look of it. Ford Granada. It looks like it. In fact, the Scorpio. They used the Scorpio moniker for the top version. One of the first production cars with ABS. I know the Jensen FF had it, but this was pretty much standard. There was the advert with the car swerving around a tractor pulling out. Lovely interior, isn't it? Got the period graphic equalizer. How we wanted a graphic equalizer back in the day. Well, I did anyway. And this one's in lovely nick, isn't it? Great to see that one here. So thanks again for joining me on Lot 76 Cars at Rustival 2024. It's been an absolutely brilliant event. Cars have been dug out of barns, garages, driveways for the most eclectic mix I think I've ever seen. So thanks again for watching, and I hope you join me on the next one.